good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. You are not a failure. You are not a failure. Put
You are not a failure. Yes, you are not a failure.
the had to prompt him. Hey, good. Hey, everybody. Hey, this is Dr. Sarah Renee Langley, your Limitless Liberator, and I'm with the Brendon Newton.
Yes. In the
And
flesh.
we were talking about having a show called the BS Show,
The
right?
BS show.
Without the BS.
Without the BS.
Yes.
Yes. Without the BS.
And why we were coming in because we were just thinking, we were just talking and having a deep conversation. And Brittany was like, you know what? We need to share this with you all. So you are not a failure. How many times have you thought that you were? Talk back to us. First of all, put in the comment section. Thank you for your time. Thank you for even joining us today. You could have been
Yes.
anywhere. You decided to be with us. So thank you so much. And just put in the comment section where you are, where you from, and to have you ever been through a situation where you felt like you failed? Talk back to us. Let us know about this topic. And I swear, we had to look it up. I had to Google. I was like, what does failure mean? Because we usually think that failure is, oh, me doing something and it
And
didn't work,
yeah.
therefore I was a failure. And we don't count other things or other factors that may play part with it. Like we make it a big thing when it comes to failing to the point that sometimes we may even not just do, for the sake of not failing or not trying.
Yeah.
And I think the only thing I'm just talking away. I need to let my friend here talk about what he was thinking about with failure.
Yeah. So for a very long time, I perceived and saw myself as being a failure. And this thought, this notion started very young when I was a child in elementary school. A lot of people who know me know that I had a very severe speech impediment and couldn't really hold a conversation with anyone. Um, but during my early years in school, I had a teacher who, because of my speech impediment, because of me not wanting to participate in certain things, um, she would drill into me that I was a failure, that I was going to be a failure for the majority of my life because of those things, and that stuck with me for a very long time. It happened at a very young age. My mind was very young and was easily molded. So it it really stuck with me for a very long time. So for years and years and years, I saw myself as a failure. So what I started doing is convincing myself that if I didn't try, I couldn't fail. But as I got older and as I got wiser and started to understand about what failure is and how people fail, and understanding that the ultimate form of failure is not trying, is not making the attempt, and that was a shell shock to me. It really took me a long time to understand that. And to this day, I still deal with the thoughts of failure and also the thoughts of, again, not trying. Um, it's a lot to overcome, a lot to deal with. But um, in talking with Sarah, I really kind of understood more in detail, um, one, where that thought came from and why it was so much of a directing factor of my life. Um, it was just a fear. It was a fear that I didn't want to disappoint myself. I didn't want to disappoint others, and I didn't want to to fail. And not understanding that failure is just, it's not failure. What we see and perceive as failure is not failure. It's just a part of our growing phase. It's a part of life. You experience things, and during those experiments, those things that you deal with, you're going to have ups and downs. Some things you're going to not accomplish the way you thought you should accomplish them. But you have to try, and in that process, if you don't accomplish or do what you have tried to do, it's a learning experience. That means you make an adjustment and you go a different way about it. Um, what I've done in the past is my thought was, again, if I didn't try, then I couldn't fail, and that thought brought me to a place where I became stagnant. I became very unproductive and comfortable in the process of not, in my thought of not failing. But in overall, in actuality, I was failing because I just wasn't trying. I wasn't putting the attempt forward. And what the problem that happened with me is that I became comfortable in the not trying. It became my comfort zone, pretty much, and it allowed me to become complacent with life. And it brought me to a place where it felt like I kind of dug myself into a grave, and I couldn't get out. But the truth is all this time I was looking at failure. I made a decision to change the lens, and not look at it as failure, but look at it as experience. It's just living life. You know, you really can't fail in life. It's just trying. It's just attempting to do something. And if you miss the mark, make an adjustment and try again. It doesn't matter how many times you try, just keep on trying. And that's the beauty of it, is there is no failure. You cannot fail in life. It's just, it doesn't exist. So I am still learning that. It is a very difficult thing to retrain your mind, but you can, and your mind is such a powerful thing. It will give you exactly what you put into it.
Mhm.
So the more and more I fed myself that I was a failure, that's what I received. And now I'm starting to put more and more that I succeed, even when those times it looked like I failed. I started looking back at certain times where I thought I failed, and following the process of getting to that period, there were a number of successes just to get to the point where I perceive failure, and that's a very strong thing. So we I think this was a conversation that people needed to hear. A lot of you guys don't know me personally, but I've handicapped myself a lot, with my thoughts and my feelings about who I am and what I am. Um, and it's taken a very long time for me to get to this point now, to sit and talk with you guys, to admit where my shortcomings have been. So you're going to see a lot more of me, a lot more of me sharing of my life and my thoughts and my feelings about uh, a lot of different subjects and a lot of views on things. But I would like to know what you guys think also. How do you guys see failure? What is failure to you? What does failure mean to you? How does it feel to fail? Um, are you learning from your failures, or are you letting your failures just hold you back? So please just share with us, whatever it is you feel free to share with, and it would be great. Maybe I can learn something from your situation, and I'll continue to keep on sharing with you my personal journey on how I am overcoming this fear of failure, and start emphasizing my successes more than anything else. But is there anything you would like to say, Dr. Sarah, in reference to that?
Well, first of all, I'm proud of you
Thank
that
you.
you're welcome. You actually was able to conquer one of the things that you felt that you were failing in, such
Yes.
as being able to speak to the wonderful world of social media.
Yes, yes.
And, as far as with everybody, first of all, again, thank you for sharing
You're
your
welcome.
personal story. And thank you for tuning in. Just want to give shout outs. Gazi, as always, thank you so much for tuning in. Hey, Kelly, thank you. I can't wait to see you Sunday. Hey, Bleak, how you doing? Krista, thank you for tuning in. Ivan, Yolanda, Deanna, Curtis, thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. We really appreciate you. Sean, Kiona, thank you so much. We just decided to have this conversation. This and the conversation that we were having is usually normal for us, and we just felt that it was something that was of interest because we figured that we're not the only ones
Or
that
dealing with
feels
this
that deals with failure or feeling
mis-
like we
the
failed.
misconception of failure.
And
Uh,
if we can turn it into a way where we can reframe thinking about failure. One time you said to me about, instead of looking at the failure, look at the successes.
yes.
Instead of looking at the risk, look at the relationship.
Hmm.
Instead of looking at what we put our eyes on the problem, look at the solution.
Exactly.
And it
Yes.
sounds easy and simple, and it can be. That's the thing. It's not about being in, you were telling the story about how I remember seeing someone post about this too, where we were, a lot of us women of color were talking about how we were so happy about getting our degrees. And so shout out to you, Jen. Hope that you're looking as well, where it was about, we got into this world record of the most uh, people that was able to post their degrees online from having a high school diploma to or more, as a woman of color, more so the black women, to show their accolades, to show their successes and accomplishments. And it was such a great feat to see how, which many of us already knew as black women, but it was just great to see how all over the world how we have really accomplished so much. But we were tend to looking at the challenges and the trials and the tribulations. It sometimes it really depleted many of us. And it was crazy how this one particular person was talking about how she had to prove to herself that she was more than just what she was defined by, because she had a teacher who was saying, hey, you're not going to amount to anything. And it broke my heart to hear that she's not the only one who had teachers that were speaking. And this is not a slight to teachers. There's great teachers out there, but it's interesting in how impressionable our minds are when we're younger, and how just the littlest thing that could be said to us can handicap us
For the
for decades.
yes.
And this is why we're here to say to you that you are not a failure. You are not a failure. You're not defined by what someone has said,
Yep.
external issues, external factors, or outcomes. No, you are still who you are beyond all of that. And that you were never a failure. You never were.
Yeah.
Whatever you went through does not define who you are. You are not a failure. I need you to start saying differently to yourself. Reframe your mindset so you can start thinking differently, just like what Brendan was
Yeah.
saying in terms of he had to start reprogramming his mindset to think differently, to not keep saying to himself over and over on autopilot, subconsciously, like, okay, I'm a failure, I'm a failure, I'm a failure. I am a success.
Yeah.
Affirmations help goes a long way. So I would encourage you to consider, if you're not doing it already, affirmations, and all that is coming up with positive words that you can speak over yourself, and not waiting for people to speak over you or speak life over you,
Yeah.
but you actually now determine and dictate and define yourself by you speaking life over yourself. So that means that you get little 3x5 sticky notes and you write them down. I am a success. I am lovable. I
Hmm.
am enough. I am, beautiful. I am strong. I am wise. If you start writing those things down and then put it around areas that you frequent, whether it's in your bathroom, on your mirror, on your bedpost, on in your car, even on our phones, we can actually put them as affirmations
And
on
we
our
all have our
phones.
phones with us everywhere we go.
Right. So if anytime that someone's saying something to you, and then you need to now counter that by having and looking at your phone and having it as a screensaver, like, no, I am enough. I am more than enough. You'll be surprised that after a while, you'll start to believe that way more. And you
Yeah.
start looking at you as a success as opposed to what has been said to you, what has been spoken over to you. So we just really want to dispel and curse those bad negative words to the pit
Yeah.
of hell today, to free you up and to know that you are not a failure. You are more than enough. You are successful. You are accomplished. Even if you feel like you don't physically see it. It's
It,
another
it,
to now see it really beyond what your eyes see.
mhm.
So I know that Brendan has so much to say, but talk about that time when that teacher said that nonsense to you.
Well, one thing I gotta say is those who know me know that I'm a technology freak. I love technology. Besides cooking and other things, but our brains are a computer. It's the most advanced computer that ever existed, and with the computer, it only spits out what you put into it, not just what you put into it, but what your environment puts into it. So when you have people, especially at a young age, who are influencing you, who you may look up to, or you may like a teacher or someone who's pouring in information into you, that information is going to be regurgitated, um, uh, and it's going to probably stick with you for the majority of your life, unless you reprogram your mind. So doing the affirmations, reading about positive things, doing things that reprogram your mind are very, very important, because when you don't, that old programming can in in theory cause you to be corrupt. It can give you a virus. It can make you sick. It can alter your whole thought process of who you are and what you are. So, with my experience, I dealt with the thought that I was a failure for decades. Just from that small moment in time where I was in elementary school, where a teacher poured into me that I was destined to be a failure, um, because of an issue that I had. Now, people, you see now that I don't stutter as much as I said I did. I went through a lot of work, um, to overcome my speech impediment. Years and years of speech therapy, put myself in positions where I had to speak, and I initially didn't look at those things as a form of success. It was just something that I needed to do. But that's a part of my success. That's a part of my story where I have overcome what was perceived to be a failure to me, and I've never given myself credit for that. I've never given myself credit for that. I was always emphasizing or looking at the times where I would fall short, and not look at the times where I would succeed. And I've had a lot of times where I've actually succeeded, probably more times than I've actually failed. But because we're so programmed to see the negative things in life, we don't look at those uh those successes. We really just look at the failures, unless you retrain your mind to look at the successes and not the failures. And it's very simple: reading positive things, doing your affirmations, telling yourself, just reaffirming yourself that you are not a failure. And it takes dedication, it takes discipline, it takes work, just as much work as it took that brought you to the point that you thought that you were a failure. Sometimes it's going to take extra work, more work than that, because the easy thing is to make yourself feel down and not fill up. It's harder to make yourself fill up than it is to make you feel down. This world is full of negativity. So you need to really focus on improving your thought process, reprogramming your mind, so that you can, in essence, understand that failure does not exist. Failure is a man-made word. It does not exist. In life, you can't fail. You can keep on trying, or you cannot. You can keep on attempting, or you cannot. So when you think that you failed, it's just a step in the process of growing, a step in a process of moving forward in your life to accomplish the goal that you are destined to accomplish. So don't give up. Don't look down on yourself for not accomplishing what you tried to accomplish at that point in time. It just was meant that you weren't supposed to do it at that point in time.
Nice.
There was a lesson that needed to be learned. Learn your lesson and keep on moving forward. And stop beating yourself up for not accomplishing the goal within your time frame. Because to be honest with you, your time frame is not God's time frame.
Okay, now we preaching.
I'm just being honest.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Maybe there was something that you missed, something important that you missed, that you needed to learn. So enjoy the process. Go through the ups and downs. Encourage yourself. Keep on pushing yourself to think great things about you. Because within your failures, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of successes. Give yourself credit for those successes. And failure will just disappear. So I'm preaching to myself as I'm preaching to you, because this is something that again has affected me for the majority of my life, and it still does to this day. I still deal with the fear of failure. But what does fear stand for again?
He put me.
Yeah.
He put me
What does
on
fear?
blast.
Dr. Sarah, what does fear
Oh,
stand
now
for?
you're going to doctor? So you're
Yes.
going to put me on blast like
It's
that?
Dr. Sarah. I know you do. I know you know what it means.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
This is BS.
This is the BS show. So hey, it needs a little BS. So fear is false evidence appearing real.
I was taking too long. Okay.
Yeah, you know. I listen.
Lord have mercy.
I'm-
You
I'm-
just hijacking my
I'm
dad
impatient
going.
also. Hey,
You're
listen.
just hijacking right now. You're hijacking.
I need a following
you need
too.
to go.
You got like a
Okay,
5,000.
then grow yours.
Okay,
Grow yours.
guys, come and see me on my channel every now and then. You'll get some good cooking videos. I'm going to get back to it. I love cooking. I'm going to do some tech stuff too. I'm going to steal Dr. Sarah's all of her people. You know, she'll be all right. She got some to spare. But guys, listen. You are not a failure.
You are not a failure.
You are not a failure. You are a success in your own right.
You are a success in your own right.
And just keep on celebrating your successes.
Keep
All the
celebrating
small
your
ones, the
successes.
big ones. And again, when you fail, when you think you fail, not when you fail, when you think you fail, it's not what you think it is. It's just a stepping stone in your growth. You know, when we were kids and we were learning to walk, how many times did you fall? Dr. Terry, she didn't fall many times. She just walked like she came out of the womb.
Yeah.
And she just started to walk.
My mommy said like in six months or so, 8 months, I started
I thought you
walking.
were gonna say 6 days. I would have believed you if you said 6 days.
You
But
believe me?
yeah, I would have believed you.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for my opportunity to talk.
I'm sorry. You can go
You're
ahead.
just hijacking.
I had a lot to say. I do apologize.
No, don't apologize. I'm really, again, I'm proud of you, and you did great. Didn't he do a great job, everyone? So just want to give a shout out to Marlo. Hey, cousin. Hey, Dennis. Thank you for tuning in. Troy. Hey, how you doing? Thank you for tuning in. Ziz. Hey, Ziz. How are you? Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Dennis said this is very true. Kelly said this is very true. So I put into the comments as far as how do you overcome successes or failures rather, and Brendon has shared quite a few tips. So if you found value into this conversation, tag, like, share, bring your bestie, your business buddy. Make sure that you let people know about this content, because we're here to help you, but you're also here to help us. Like, we're here and created to be relational to help everybody rise to the top. As I always say, it's about helping, when you tag, like, and share the information, you never know that you may help someone to become limitless in the process. So please go ahead and help someone else become limitless in the process. And how you overcome failures, I put it in here. So make sure that you go ahead and copy for your own self and your own leisure and for your own growth. So overcoming failure, we have accept your emotions and feelings. Your feelings are valid. As far as like making sure that you understand that process, if you don't understand, if you need help and support and around that, hey, I'm your gal. That's why I'm here to help and support you. So you make sure that you message me if you ever are in need of knowing how do you help to overcome the failures that you feel like you have been handicapped, as Brendon had talked about, had kept you from really being able to thrive in your life. It's no longer about surviving anymore. This is about thriving this year and beyond. Yes or yes? So making sure that you, thanks, making sure that you accept your feelings and emotions. Your feelings are valid. So validate your feelings and emotions. overcoming another way to overcome failure is that it doesn't mean that your life is over. Come on, it's just beginning. So I used to always say that weaknesses were never what it was meant to be or seem to be or perceived to be or even defined to be, but it's more about them being uncultivated strengths, just having an opportunity and a chance to grow and to become a
Exactly.
strength. So really, there really isn't any such thing as failure. As Brendan said, we made a lot of words up
Yeah.
and gave it
It's
its
a
own
man-made
definition.
concept.
We gave it its own definition
Hmm.
that we didn't have any business giving. So when we say about there is no trying, it's either you do it or you don't. So we have to now start reprogramming our mindset, and you'll be surprised in reprogramming it and being in the presence of success and happiness and love and peace and those type of things. You'll be surprised how you actually will start to see it, how it's been around you the whole time. So making sure that you understand that failure does not mean that your life is going to be over. It's just beginning, to be honest with you. Failure, to overcome failure, learn from failure and be constructive. So learn from it. So it's been said about how there's no winning or losing. It's
Hmm.
just learning. So look at your days as, okay, you know what is this today? Did I win or did I learn? So take these as learning lessons and do not define yourself as, oh, I'm a failure because I failed. Okay, if you didn't try, that's another thing. It's another thing when you have tried and it didn't work out, like Brendan said, in terms of your time frame. But it's another to now get back into it, learn from it, and grow from it.
Hmm.
And also finding inspiration. Another way to overcome failure is finding inspiration. So I always tell my clients that, you know what, why don't you go ahead and look up people that you admire,
Yeah.
people that you aspire to be, and see how they talk about failure and how they overcame it.
Hmm.
So there's someone that is in your sphere, or maybe not even in your circle. You can always take or borrow or steal, but more so be able to go and look at people that you admire and see what they've done to overcome failure, so that now you can take and embody that as well for yourself, until you now start to realize that, hey, like Brenda was saying, it's not about the failures that one thought that they had, is more about the successes that were already there that you have done. So being able to shift your mindset from what you were looking at before to now what has really been in your area, in your life the whole time. So if you need aspiration, go ahead and look about it, go on Google and start to look at the people that you admire. On social media, look at the people that's in your home that you may admire. How did they overcome failures? And so now you can also look and learn how to do that just the same. Be passionate. Find something that is a passion to you, that really stimulates you, that really, I feel like a lot of times we took away, and we got so busy and we got so encumbered with so many things just to, again, survive.
Yeah.
And we in our mindset that we're thriving, but we're still acting in survival mode and try to take care of our basic needs, but they already been taken care of, times that we didn't know that we were going to make it through, and we made it through anyway. So usually it's already on autopilot how to survive. I think that we need to shift our mindsets to start thinking about thriving. And so in doing that, start looking at what you're passionate about. Not always looking at, I posted about this as well, about especially with y'all Gen Xers. Come on, raise your hands, Gen X, Gen X. Yes, you are Gen X. You are Gen X. And how we were always programmed to think that, okay, you got to work hard and you got to, just go through the trenches and blood, sweat, and tears just to make it in life, until these daggone millennials and Gen Zers show that, you know what, not discounting, but the fact that y'all have been able to still do certain things and not work as hard, and that could be subjective and relative. The point isn't about how much work that you put in. It's about the fact that y'all thinking differently. Y'all looking at there's options out there that you don't have to go ahead
Work
and,
smarter,
well,
not harder.
yeah, go through the trenches and stuff, and you're still able to be successful. And a lot of us Gen Xers are feeling some type of way at the fact that, wow, we did all this for decades, and we're still trying to survive. We still didn't arrive yet. So it's just amazing how, if you just change your mindset and look at it and decide on what you're passionate about. We don't have to always go into things that we're not passionate about just to survive. It's already built in us to survive, so we don't have to help our own survival instincts to survive. It's like we can allow ourselves, give ourselves permission to start going after things that we are passionate about. So I will dare you this year to actually look into doing things that you are really passionate about. And again, if you can't find your passion, you don't know how to make that happen, I'm your girl. Go ahead and inbox me. I'm here at your service to help you and support you this year. But yes, be passionate. Find your passion. Also, making sure that you surround yourself with positive people. So we hope that we were possible with our BS
Yeah,
show.
yeah, our BS show. I
You know,
hope you enjoyed our BS.
we try to keep it light and fluffy, but we're going to be truthful and honest as well because this is the year of the cat. You know, it's like the cat attack. And being honest and truthful because this is what we have been yearning for anyway is authenticity,
Mm-hmm.
realness, rawness, people speaking their truth, no matter what is being said, no matter what the consequences are. It's like you still show up and be your true authentic self. And man, so that you can now decide that when you actually cross that initial step to do that,
Mm-hmm.
man, it's like a whole new world. It's like the air is different up there in regards to being able to just be yourself and not let people, again, call the shots on your life. I
Yes.
said this before in one of my posts that, you know what? Don't burn yourself up this year trying to keep people warm.
Mm.
Listen, keep yourself warm. And it's okay to do just that. That doesn't take away from your manhood or your womanhood. It doesn't take away from anything. It doesn't. It has nothing to do with the other. It's just about you now not being, it's not about you being selfish. Like, oh, but that's selfish. No, it's self preserving. This is about making sure that you're intact. We always celebrating people who get bloodied and beaten and battered and bruised in the name of whatever success, let's say. And then we hate when people who didn't go through that, who kept themselves intact and still was able to succeed. And then we're like, okay, no, they didn't work hard enough. They, you know, they're not really a man or a woman because they didn't go through nothing. Nah, I celebrate those folks because I'm telling you, this year, it's all about my peace. I want to stay intact.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so, because I got another, another year, another, we all do another trip around the sun. But, mine's is close right now at the time of this recording. I have my birthday coming up. And I get like this every year. And so I'm just thinking about how it's a matter of making sure that you stay intact, especially as Gen Xers on up, okay? The baby boomers, I hope y'all listening. We don't have to do this no more. We don't have to go through the trenches and hard times. Life is going to give that to you anyway. It's about making sure that you help yourself along and keep yourself intact and keep yourself happy and wholesome and free and light in the process.
Yes.
That is a better look. That's what I'm going for this year. How about you? Put it in the comment section. And lastly, avoid isolating yourself. Listen, no man is an island to themselves. Don't isolate yourself. You're not doing this by yourself. You don't have to. That doesn't make you who you are. Like I'm strong. I can do this by myself. That's BS. Okay, that's BS on this BS show.
Yes.
We're telling you to do differently, or we invite you to consider to
Yes.
do differently to get a different result. Yes or yes. So
Yes and yes.
don't isolate yourself. Go ahead and reach out. It's okay. No one's going to think differently of you. Like, oh, but how would they think I'm not strong? And, I got this image to uphold. We can honor that. And you still need someone to talk to. We still all are here to help each other out. So reach out to whom you have to. And again, if you need that help and support, you don't want to be alone, I'm your gal. Go ahead and inbox me. Let me know how I can best support you because I am here to be at your service to help you to become limitless. Yeah. And give yourself credit and grace. We don't do that enough.
No, we don't do that
We
enough.
surely make sure that we will beat ourselves up because see, it's been programmed. We've been programmed in a way to think that that's what we're supposed to do. Is that oh well, we get that adrenaline rush if we like beat ourselves up and we
Yeah.
critique
Yeah.
ourselves, and that's going to move us and take action. No, it doesn't. It actually does the opposite. You're wearing and tearing on yourself, your mind, body, and spirit. It's like you're crippling and really um disempowering yourself. You're really doing a disservice to yourself more than you're thinking that you're doing a service by
Yes.
beating yourself up and it wasn't good enough and critiquing yourself. Rather, give yourself credit, give yourself grace,
Motivate yourself.
motivate
It's a
yourself.
different thing motivating and beating yourself up. Um,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah,
But,
it's my time now.
okay.
But no, you're right. You're right. It is about motivating. It is about being able to speak life into yourself and see how that will make a difference. It will make a world of difference in your life, in your body, in your spirit, in your soul.
Yes.
So make sure that you give yourself that credit. And by that, that is how the steps to take to overcoming failure,
Yes.
which doesn't even exist anyway.
It doesn't even exist.
You are not a failure.
Yeah.
You never were. You never, ever were.
Yes. Get out of your mind. So
Right.
just one last thing I want to say is I am actually looking to build up my circle and my community of friends. Um, uh, I have been for the majority of my life a very introverted and a very introverted and recluse person because of my background and my history. Of course, up until the age of 18, I still had a very severe stutter. So I really didn't communicate very well. So I'm looking to reach out to people, mentors, friends, building relationships to just help me advance in life, pretty much. Just like it says, you can't do this on your own. And for the longest time, I've been doing it on my own. I mean, I've had Sarah in my life for a very large period of time. And my family, of course, I have four brothers, but I haven't had much relationships outside of that circle, and I'm looking to expand that circle. So if you guys are in the DMV area, and you don't mind hanging out with a boring guy like myself, I love sports, love cooking, I love what I like computers. I like cars too. So if you got a nice car, I would
This
like to
is
see
not a
it.
dating site.
Well,
This is not a dating site.
I'm trying to get hooked up with someone. You know,
Okay, this is not the platform. They overcome your failures. So if y'all, and y'all can reach out to him. He'll put his link into the comment section.
yes, yes.
Yeah, that's all.
I'm 5'8". I weigh about a hundred
All
and.
right, so this is a lot of BS. We thank you for your time. Thank you for Erica, John. He said, thanks for this. You're very welcome. Thank you, Margie, for tuning in. Dennis says it's very true. So we hope this was a help for you. And once more, tag, like, and share. Sharing is caring. Make sure that you share this out because you may help someone to become limitless in the process.
Yes, yes.
All right, so thank you for your time today.
All right.
And thank you for watching the BS show without the BS.
And you are not a
You're
failure.
not a failure.
Celebrate your successes. It doesn't matter how small they are or